This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Amy Hart.
And I'm Christie Roden. Today we have a Student Issues Forum discussing areas of interest with Southern Arkansas University students. With us today are Monica Rasmussen and Jonathan Wood. Thank you for being on our show. Monica, what about SAU made you come here rather than going somewhere else like a community college?
Well, to be perfectly honest, both my parents work up here and I live basically about 3 blocks away. And just knowing that my parents would be here for me and I get to do free laundry, I got free tuition, and SAU also gave me 3 scholarships, so it looked really nice and the campus was nice, and I altogether just really thought it was a good decision.
Jonathan, what made you decide to come here?
After I graduated high school, my family moved to a new town, and I had originally planned to go to a college away from home, but since we moved to Magnolia, I decided that, well, I'm in a new town, and at first I looked at Ouachita, but I looked at all the things that SAU had to offer compared to Ouachita and Arkadelphia, and I looked at all the things that Magnolia had, and as far as the towns were concerned, comparably, they were pretty similar, and I felt like, you know, I might as well stay at home. And the big thing that really pushed me over the edge to stay here at SAU was the tuition, because the tuition was just, as far as compared to other schools, this is probably one of the lowest tuitions I've ever found. And that was probably the main thing that made me decide to come to SAU.
I've heard a lot of students talk about how personal SAU is with you, your area of interest, whether it be business or mass communications. They'll talk with you one-on-one and really make you feel like you'll be part of a family instead of just going to school. Were they like that with you too?
I went to a very small high school. I first went to a large high school, and then I moved to a small high school. And I really enjoyed a small high school because I really got to know the faculty, and I felt like they knew me and knew my needs as well. And that's something about SAU that I liked. It was a smaller college compared to the big state schools, but it also provided just pretty much everything that you would want out of a big school. And especially in the mass communications department, I feel like I know the faculty, and that's really helped me.
Jonathan, a lot of people talk about how living on campus has its privileges, but I know that you live off campus. What do you think are the advantages of living off campus?
Well, I definitely think that everybody should live on campus, at least for a semester, and I didn't do that, and I wish I had. The further along I've gotten, it's you know, you don't become a senior and then decide to live on campus. You want to do that early. I didn't do that. I wish I would have, and I think everyone should, but living off campus has its advantages, definitely. I mean, I live at home, and you know, laundry is, you know, easily accessed, and food is always there for me, and a lot of times in the dorms I think it might be loud and it might disturb me, so I have my own privacy as well. But if I were to live on campus, I think I would enjoy that as well, because I would get to know a lot more people, and I might feel a little bit more involved in the activities that are on campus, and might be a little bit more informed with what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Now, Monica, you're from Magnolia. What made you decide to live on campus in the dorms?
Well, I guess considering being from Magnolia, I felt like maybe if I lived on campus, it'd be like living in a whole different setting. And right now I'm an RA, and I've been an RA, and I'm going to continue to be an RA. And even though I'm from Magnolia, it feels like a complete and different world just living on campus. You meet many new people. You don't just hang around with the people you hung around in high school, the little cliques. I mean, most of my friends are from other parts of Arkansas and even other parts of the United States. And I just feel like it's really been more beneficial to me as growing to meet other people and to live here and interact with them.
Jonathan, lots of students feel that there aren't enough interesting activities. How do you feel about the activities put on here at SAU?
I would definitely agree with whoever said that, because there have been things advertised, like student activities such as George Plimpton, or who were some of the others, the Spencers, or things that I just did not draw me in. And I talked to some of my other friends who go to different colleges, and they have activities and people that come in. I know some people down in Louisiana that I know that David Spades come there to speak, and I'm sure that was very exciting. The Indigo Girls and the Foo Fighters came to play at their school, and that just sounded like to me, I mean, I had no comeback for that, you know. I mean, things that we've had on this campus may be interesting, but not necessarily to our generation. And I think that maybe if it's more expensive to have the people that would be more interesting to us come, I would rather have less people come, but more interesting things to us, you know. I haven't really felt drawn into any of the activities that we've had, or guests that we've had on campus.
My cousin goes to Louisiana Tech, and they brought Chris Rock to their school, and popular people like that. But in order to bring better activities here, there would have to be a raise in tuition to accommodate that. And there was a survey going around last semester, I think, and I'm not sure whatever came of that. But would you be willing to pay extra money to have the better activities? And do you think other students would want to?
Well, there again, I don't think it's the school's responsibility to entertain us. They're here to educate us, and those activities are, they're fun and they're exciting and they will draw students in. But as far as wanting to pay more money to get them, no, because I've gotten along just fine without them so far. But again, if they would have less activities and more interesting activities, maybe just cut it back to 2. You would be able to afford someone that would probably cost a little bit more, but be more exciting to us.
Jonathan, I know that you're involved with intramural sports. What different types of intramural sports are there?
There's quite a bit. I mean, I've really been happy with the intramural sports because there's a lot of athletes on this campus that aren't necessarily on the school team, and they provide, let's see, there's volleyball, I know there's basketball, softball, and there's flag football as well. They definitely provide a lot of activities, and I've really enjoyed being a part of them. The only thing I wish they would do is maybe extend the seasons a little bit longer, because I've found that a lot of times I may have a schedule conflict with a couple of the games that we might have, and just before you know it, the season's over with, and I didn't really get a chance to play as much as I wanted to. And that's the only thing about intramural sports that I would probably improve, would be just to make it a little bit longer. But they're doing a great job, and it's really well organized, and I feel a lot of people get involved.
Monica, if SAU gets awarded the Reynolds Grant, they will possibly build an $11 million student activity center where the Bruce Center is now. What would you like to see included in that building?
Well, I think first of all, in order to attract people, we need a more appropriate setting. I would think maybe music, TVs, better food, just things that will attract somebody to walk in there, because right now it's just the Mule Rider Cafe. That's all there is, and I know all I do is go in there to check my mail. And people that don't even live on campus, they probably went in there just to go to the student life office, but as of right now, there's really nothing to do. But I think if the setting was just changed, if maybe there was more furniture, maybe if they had pool tables or ping pong tables, just to make it more of a party atmosphere, it would really attract students.
I agree. Jonathan, what do you think?
I think I would agree with her, wholeheartedly. I don't even go in the Bruce Center. The only time I went into the Bruce Center this whole year, not even just this semester, this whole year, was just to get my books from the bookstore. And that's the only reason I was drawn to the Bruce Center. I don't eat there. I live off campus, so I don't eat in the Bruce Center or anything like that. But definitely some more of an activity type atmosphere. Right now it just seems like it's just a couple of chairs and some food to eat, and people get their mail there. I don't get my mail there, obviously, but I think that the Bruce Center could definitely be improved.
There are no child care facilities on campus, and many students at one point or another have to bring their children to class. Monica, how do you think that SAU should approach the on-campus child care issues?
Well, I really do not think it is the responsibility of SAU to help raise your child. I think that if you do have children, maybe you should stay at home, or you should take them to a daycare or find a babysitter, but it is not the school's responsibility. And also, other students get very distracted by having children in the classrooms, and right now I don't really think you're even supposed to. I think it's against SAU policy to bring your children to class. And I know I'm an RA, and if kids are snuck in the dorms, I mean, they keep the residents up all night. These are children. They have needs. They need to be at their house, or they need to be with their parents. But no, I really don't think SAU needs to raise the children for them.
Do you have any input on that, Jonathan?
I just think that college is for the students, and those kids have needs, and I don't really know about that. I don't have a kid or anything like that, but all I can say is that I don't think SAU should have to provide daycare or anything like that. You're a parent; that's your responsibility. You know, take care of your business. Come to school here.
Monica, what kinds of information would you like to see included in the BRAE that aren't already there? I know they pay a lot of attention to the theater department and stuff. Do you think that there's other things that should be put in there?
Well, yes, maybe more students' complaints or comments. I don't think there's maybe an editorial that every once in a while a student will write in and usually complain about SAU, but I think there needs to be more just positive comments on SAU. It just seems like everything negative is written about, and I mean, that just leaves a negative impression to all the students. But I really don't look at the BRAE as a source of big information on campus. I just look at it to see, you know, gossip or something like that right now. I mean, it's good for what the school has.
We did have quite a negative complaint in the last issue of the BRAE.
Yes.
But Jonathan, professors have to send students to the advising center to register after the 20th. What are your views on this? I mean, do you think that they should be able to register them in their office as long as the advising center does?
Definitely. I mean, do you not? I mean, I don't know the reasoning, and the teachers that I've asked, they don't either.
Right.
They don't know why that is. Do you not trust, you know, the system, or if it's good for up to the 20th, why is it not good after the 20th? I don't know why it's not, but it's definitely kind of a pain. It'd just be it's easier to access it through your professors, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be that way.
I agree.
Each student at SAU is required to pay a $75 computer fee whether they live on campus or off campus. Do you use the computer commons, and do you think that every student should have to pay the $70 fee, Jonathan?
No. This is something that if I had one complaint on campus, this would be my number one complaint, is the computer fee, because I live off campus, and there are tons of students that live off campus, and some that live on campus that have their own computers. And I think the fee is necessary, but I think it's too much. I think the $75 fee per semester is just too much, especially for somebody like me who doesn't even ever go into the computer commons. I mean, and I do pay the fee, and I do have another complaint, and I'm going to say it right now, is the email service. I do use the school's email service. I started using it when I was a freshman, and I told all my friends that were scattered all out, you know, different colleges around the country, this is my email address, and I used it a lot. But during holidays and stuff, for instance, the Christmas break, it was shut down completely. And email is an everyday thing. You use it every single day. I use it every day, and I assume a lot of other people do too. And I don't understand why it's shut down. I'm sure they have maintenance, but I just don't think it's probably necessary to shut it down for the entire break, because we have needs even when we're not even in school. And if we're paying the $75 fee, then I think that we could get the email access turned on the whole time. But again, no, I disagree with the computer fee to the extent that they charge us. There's always maintenance and things that they need to keep upgrading things. And I think more like a $25 fee per student may be more reasonable, but $75 just seems a bit much to me.
What about you, Monica?
I agree. I basically use my boyfriend's computer, and I live on campus, and there's probably been about 3 times I've been down to the lab right now. $75 is pretty steep considering with technology the way it is today, most people are buying their own computers. So $75 is rather steep. I would say about $20, $25.
I'd have to agree with you on that. I live off campus too, and I think I've only used the computer commons twice this semester, so I didn't get my $75 worth. Jonathan, there's also a $10 add drop fee that is charged to students who drop and add a class after the first week of class. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know why there's a $10 fee. You know, $10 to me is not enough to stop me from dropping a class, and it's definitely not enough to stop me from adding a class. I don't know why there's a $10 fee. They have paid people that work in there to do the paperwork or do the computer work, whatever. I don't see what the problem would be. It's not like there's just a mad rush to add and drop classes, that they're just overloaded with add and drop slips or whatever it may be. The $10 fee just seems unnecessary to me. Where's that money going? Where's the $10 going that everybody pays when they do add or drop a class? Where does it go? What's it used for? And what can it be used for? I mean, it's just questions that we have not been told and maybe haven't even asked or even thought to ask, but probably should.
I totally agree.
I've heard complaints from several students about the library not having books. The books aren't there, actually. Monica, does the library to you have enough research material when you need to do a research project?
I would have to disagree with you on that. Generally speaking, why the books are not there when you need them is because you have waited to the last minute to do your research. I find that when I get there, there's always research there, which may be because I just always want to start on a project early. You just go ask the workers, they will help you out. They have tons of research. They have dictionaries, encyclopedias, and they even have criticisms. Generally my last resort is the books. I usually use the criticisms and other things that people have said, but I really think why students can't find their materials because they just wait till last minute. And yes, we maybe do have a limited supply, but that's just because everybody else maybe has taken the books you need because you waited till the last minute. But I find they're very helpful.
You think the people who work in the library and the librarians are helpful in helping you find things?
Yes, I do. I think a lot of people come back with no background on how to use a library. I know I did, and even with all the they sometimes give you a little class to help you learn how to check out books and use the card catalog and things like that. But generally speaking, I just walked up to the main person and said, I really need help finding something. Could you help me? And they're more than happy. I mean, usually they're just sitting there. Why not help you?
What about you, Jonathan? You use the library much?
Well, she probably got me on that one. I'm probably one of those people who wait till the last minute. And I go in the library and I see all kinds of books everywhere, but I never seem to find my number one or number two choice. I always find that those books are missing, and I don't know if somebody else has those, or if they're just misplaced, or if they just don't exist, or who knows where they are. You know, that may be that I wait to the last minute more times than not. Probably all times, I would have to admit. But the library I like the library, and the people there, no matter what need it is, whether it may not even be related to a book, but they're always there to help me, and they've seemed very friendly. And I've been very pleased with the library and their staff. I find the library is a really good place to study. It's always quiet. There's never been very many distractions there to me, and I use the library. I use it fairly regularly, so and I enjoy it.
My problems with finding books, I use the computer printout to tell you where the book is, and I don't ever know if it's upstairs or downstairs, but there's always somebody there waiting to help you, like you said. Jonathan, have you taken advantage of the mobile text bookstore, and what kind of impact do you feel that it will have on the Follett bookstore?
It's funny that you asked that, because yesterday I was looking through the last edition of the Bray, and they had a big one-page printout of mobile text, new truck and tent that you can go to, and I think that and I did take advantage of it. I went over there. I took a stack of probably 10, 15 books over there. Not one of them did they buy back, and it's just so far. The school isn't buying back certain books, but that mobile text place hasn't been buying back the same one. So to me, it really hasn't affected me. The only thing that I can see that how it would affect the Follett bookstore is that it may make the lines a little bit shorter to get your books bought back. They may help out and just take some other students away from there. I don't know how that affects Follett as far as money goes, but it definitely helps the students have more options to go different places, because I can remember on buyback days when I've stood in a line for 30 minutes. Now that's changed a little bit because they've started the procedures a little bit better and more efficient, but I think it's beneficial to the students. I don't know how it would affect the bookstore.
Okay. It's funny that you said that, because I was under the impression that the mobile text bookstore would buy back any book. That's what I had heard. I didn't know that it was like that.
Well, the thing that happened is the literature course I'm taking right now, I had to retake it from about a year ago. I retook it this semester, and I forgot that I had already had that literature book, but they wouldn't buy it back the first time I took it. But then again, they sold it to me again this year. And I didn't understand why they wouldn't buy it back the first time, but they're still selling the same one to students.
Was it Lit 1?
It was lit.
I have the same book.
I
and
now
they would
have
not
two
buy.
lit 1 books that they're still using but won't buy back.
They only bought back so many last semester, I think, and I got there too late and they wouldn't buy mine back either. So, Monica, the Follett bookstore will have a new policy next year. They're guaranteed to buy back certain books. They will have these books marked, and they will buy them back at 50% of cost. And you'll know which books they are in advance. What other improvements would you like to see in the bookstore?
Well, I think they've done a good job by getting other products like CDs, shirts, clothes, mugs, calendars. I think they're trying to make it more of a little store than they are just for books. But I also know that a lot of people don't buy the things because it's rather pricey, you know, and you can just go downtown and find the same things. And about the buyback of books, I don't think they're going to be taking back nearly as much as they say they're going to be. I mean, like his example, it just seems like they're just going to pick and choose what they want. And I just remember from last year that they usually bought back most of your books, you know, so I don't see very much improvement right now. I know there's been a lot of complaints about it from even the faculty that it's hard for them to order books, and I really don't like it right now. I think that the other bookstore was better.
SAU is starting a new program called the Freshman Experience, where they're going to be grouping the freshmen together in the dorms and in the classrooms. Monica, do you think that this is going to benefit the freshmen?
I think it have a positive and a negative effect on these students, because right now we do already have freshman housing. There's Harrod and then there's Green, and I know that they want to group up in a certain wing the freshmen, but I think putting these same people in the same hall, the same wing, the same floor, the same classes, they're not having to branch out and meet the people that make up this campus. I mean, there's many other people other than freshmen, and yes, they are on the same level. They've just come from high school, but half of learning is meeting people that are older than you, maybe getting their experiences, maybe learning what teachers to take, or where to buy, how to get your books and sell back books. And I think it's going to help in the fact that they can relate to each other, but as far as learning, I think it's going to really have a negative effect right now. That's just how I
They
feel.
have the Mule Rider Roundup. Do you think that they think that maybe the freshman experience in the Mule Rider Roundup will help freshmen be more comfortable around each other? Or?
Possibly. I never attended Mule Rider Roundup. I went to a leadership academy because I have a leadership scholarship, and I know any type of interaction you can have with a student and other students and your peers, you're going to feel better off. You're going to come to college that fall and you're going to say, hey, I know you. You know, any type of getting to know somebody, you're going to feel more comfortable, and that's just all there is to it. So anything they can put together to get students together is going to be beneficial.
Monica, I know you know a little bit about the civility campaign, so I'm going to give you a chance to defend it.
Okay. I've heard a lot of negative things like, oh, you can't change me, or, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's not what we are trying to portray. I'm an RA and I had to make those posters. And what we're trying to tell people is that we want you to think about how you're talking to people, what you're doing, what are your actions. You know, you walk down a hall and you say civility, you know, be kind to others. You're not going to say, you know, oh, you know, I'm just going to change right now. I'm just going to be kind to somebody. It helps you just look at it and think, you know, maybe I got in a fight with a friend the other day. Maybe I should do something. Anything that's going to remind you to act like a better person is going to help you, even if you don't realize it, or you know, it's just unconscious. You just don't realize it, and maybe it'll help you be kind to others.
I agree with you. I've seen them on campus, and it's not the fact that they want to change somebody, but it does help them. I agree. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching this edition of the SAU Report.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.